Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Elivaras, and welcome to Guild Wars 2's Path of Fire second beta weekend. So, for those of you longtime watchers, no, I am not suddenly switching games. I'm still going to be producing Total War Warhammer content. I just figured since I play Guild Wars 2 and the channel isn't dedicated to specifically one game, I'd release one or two videos on it, especially in this very exciting beta weekend. So in this video, I'm going to be showcasing some 1v1 Mirage footage. So I am by no means like a pro at PvP. I've definitely played a fair share of it, and I generally know what I'm doing, but don't expect perfection here, especially since this is a new class. And a lot of the stuff I'm trying out is not necessarily the meta builds or the best build you can possibly have, but a lot of it's just testing and seeing what works and what doesn't. So this is going to be a video on 1v1 footage, so I've gone into various 1v1 servers, and I've just been 1v1ing a ton of people, probably a good, 50 or so 1v1s. And I've gotten a lot of practice in, and it's been really, really fun. The Mirage is really useful for 1v1ing, but unfortunately it's not useful for much else. But we're going to be showcasing 1v1s nonetheless. So the Mirage is the Mesmer Elite Specialization, in case you were unaware, that's coming with Path of Fire. And let's hop into the weapons, sigils, and runes. So the weapons I have are what they gave to me at the start, and I was like, okay, since Axe is Condi, we might as well just stick with Staff and Torch, since they also give me Condis. It's got Sigil of Confusion for increased inflicted condition duration, or confusion duration, because this build is about a lot of confusion, so might as well just increase the duration of it. We put some poison on them whenever we swap a weapon. A Sigil of Cleansing, remove one condition when you swap to this weapon while in combat, since a lot of the time you'll be in there faced with the axe, and then when you want to get back out, you swap to the staff and use your number 2 to hop out of there. And when you swap to that staff, you might as well cleanse a condition. We have Sigil of Absorption, stealing a boon when interrupting an enemy. We've got a fair few interrupts. We've got our Diversion, and we've got our Daze here with Chaos Storm. For runes, I just stuck with what they gave me as I felt it was good enough. We have condition damage plus and condition duration. And we also get, when using elite skill, deliver an attack that blinds enemies and transfers a condition. And you'll see this build's a lot about blinds. So, a lot about the synergy between blinds and confusion. So, you will see that where that comes into play soon. And then Deadshot Amulet for extra precision, vitality, condition damage, and expertise, which are all stats that I need. So I chose to go with Dueling, Illusions, and Mirage for the 3 trait lines. I probably could have also done something with Chaos if I wanted to. These were the 3 they gave me, and I looked into some of the skills, and I was like, you know what, these are good enough for my purposes. I've got a lot of confusion on my axe skills, so I want even more confusion pumping with these traits in the Dueling line. I've got some good recharges on my Torch skills and extra shatter conditions with the Illusions line and obviously the Mirage line, so I can wield an axe. So we first have Desperate Decoy, cloak and leave a clone of yourself behind if you take damage while below the health threshold. We've got Blind, and these are the 2 Blind and Confusion synergies here. Blind foes around you whenever you use a Shatter skill, so if I was to use all 4 Shatter skills, I'd get 8 stacks of Blind for about 9, or 8 stacks of Confusion for about 9 seconds on the opponent, which is really nice. And then I've also got Interrupting a Foe inflicts blind, and Blinding a Foe inflicts confusion. Now, one thing I will note is I'm not exactly sure if they already have blindness on them. If you trigger it again, if you'll get the confusion. I haven't exactly tested that. But because they're typically swinging at you, and you're usually, when you're using these, you're in range with your axe, they'll probably hit you and run out of that blind really quickly. So for the most part, you'll end up with all of the blinds you need, and you're not really spamming all 4 of these in a row. You want to hit them when you've got a ton of clones up, right? So for the most part, that's not going to have much of an effect. So Interrupting a Foe inflicts blind, and Blinding a Foe inflicts confusion. So I've got my interrupt on the Diversion, I've got my interrupt on the staff, so that inflicts blind, but Blinding a Foe inflicts confusion. So you can see all of my shatters inflict blind, so that's going to inflict even more confusion. I've got a blind on my the Prestige here, my Disappear in a Cloud of Smoke. I've got a blind going down there, so even more confusion. My shatters inflict confusion. My axe skills inflict confusion. Just tons of confusion uptime. Excuse me. Tons of confusion uptime, so that's going to be really damaging to them, or so I hope. For illusions, we've got the Pledge, reduce recharge on Torch skills. That's a no-brainer there. Shatter skills inflict torment on hit, going for some more conditions here. and your shatter skills are improved. So I didn't really like the other two things here. I've got increase attack speed while wielding a scepter while I'm not wielding a scepter. So, and then Phantasm's damage permanently increases whenever they attack gain might. Not really looking for Phantasms to do the damage here. It's mostly my condition, so I might as well go with Master Fragmentation and get improved shatter skills. And especially because there's a lot of dead eyes around now, the Thief Elite specialization, reflecting projectiles would actually be pretty nice. And then for Mirage, I've got Renewing Oasis. Gain regeneration when Mirage Cloak is active, and the duration of damaging conditions is reduced when you are regenerating. I could have also probably gone with a Riddle of Sand if I was using ambushes. You'll see at the starting clips, like my utilities are the things that will change all the time when you're watching the 1v1 footage. So I did have ambush skills originally, and this could have been used, but now in my final version of the build, I don't have any ambushes, so this would actually be useless. I've got Shattered Illusions have a chance of becoming Mirage Mirrors, so 33% chance of getting more Mirage Mirrors and more dodging, etc., which is pretty nice. And then I've got Elusive Mind, dodging, break, stuns, remove conditions, which is really, really useful because there's a lot of classes that can really lock you down and stun you, especially when you're fighting Spellbreakers, and they bring a lot of utilities and such to stun you up. If you have your dodge can break stun, then that's really, really nice. So that's the build, and now we're going to hop into some 1v1 footage, so stay tuned for that. I'm not going to be commentating that to let you just enjoy the footage, and so that for those that don't want to hear constant talking over the footage, you don't have to. So yeah, I'd like to I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. So without further ado, let's begin. So, I hope you all enjoyed that compilation of 1v1s with the Mirage versus every other, or, okay, not every other, but most other specs of the demo specs in the game. It was really fun to record all of these and to practice, and overall, I think Mirage is a really fun class to 1v1 with. It's got a really high skill cap with all your teleports and stuff moving around, just darting around the enemy and having them have trouble figure out where you are. So I had a ton of fun recording all of these, and I hope you all enjoyed a lot of the clips. So yeah, if you have any comments, criticisms, feedback, suggestions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. I would like to thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Cheers, guys.